Part 1. The Illusion of Success. Imagine pulling into the office parking lot every morning at exactly 8:47 a.m. in a matte black BMW X5. Your car looks luxurious, but this lease costs you $839 every single month. You choose the first available spot near the entrance so the car is clearly visible from the conference room window. To you, it's not just transportation. It's an expensive business card you can barely afford. You work in marketing and earn a salary of $94,000 a year before taxes. Every time new clients visit, you lead them to the elevator just to catch their impressed reactions. But behind this shine hides the truth. Your net worth is negative $17,000. Your financial reality consists of credit card debt, lease obligations, and a loan from last summer's vacation. You save only 2% of your income because the rest goes toward maintaining the illusion of wealth. And this is Margaret. She parks in the far corner of the same lot much earlier than you. She drives a standard 2020 Toyota Camry that she bought used with cash. There is a small dent on her bumper that she doesn't even plan to fix right now. Margaret works at the same company, but her net worth already exceeds $1 million. You earn roughly the same amount, yet your financial realities are worlds apart. You chose outward symbols, while she chose the accumulation of real capital and freedom. Most real millionaires in America buy cars for an average of $31,000. More than half of the wealthy drive cars that are already over 2 full years old. While you pay for the brand, 61% of the wealthy choose simple Hondas or Fords. A car is the ultimate wealth killer because it loses its value every single second. A new car loses 20% of its price during the first year just sitting in your parking spot. 2. The high cost of status. Your BMW drains more than just money from your pocket. It drains your future peace of mind. Besides the lease, you pay $200 for full insurance because the car must remain perfect. Every scheduled maintenance at the official service center costs you another $500. You buy only premium fuel so the engine runs as precisely as a Swiss watch. Margaret spends only $30 a month on her Toyota, including oil changes. Her insurance costs 3 times less because she isn't chasing the new car status. While you stress over every scratch in the parking lot, she walks calmly into a business meeting. Your fear of damaging the paint forces you to park 2 miles away from the curb. You buy expensive interior accessories just to impress a girl on a first date. You lead her to the car with pride, but inside you're calculating if you have enough left for dinner. Your date sees only the leather interior, but the hacker sees your empty savings account. Meanwhile, Margaret invests the $800 she saved into index funds with compound interest. In 10 years, her saved car money will turn into an extra $200,000. In 10 years, your car will be worth less than your current set of winter tires. You buy things that depreciate, hoping they will add value to you in the eyes of others. But colleagues in the office only discuss your car for the first 5 minutes after you buy it. Then they forget about it, while you are left alone with the bills for years to come. The real price of your BMW isn't $800. It's the million you will never earn. You trade your time and freedom for a metal box that rusts outside your office every day. Look at your expenses soberly before the iron completely eats your financial dreams forever. Part 3. The Social Trap. Your environment dictates the rules of the game to you, even if those rules lead to financial ruin. Your colleague Andrew just bought the latest iPhone and now mocks your older gadget. Andrew looks like a successful broker, but his credit history is a solid red zone. You feel discomfort when everyone at a business lunch pulls out expensive watches and gold cards. The sales manager, Victor, always boasts about his membership in an exclusive golf club. Victor has a massive head, a face constantly red from shouting, and a very expensive suit. You agree to a group dinner at an elite restaurant even though your card balance is critical. The waiter at the restaurant is a thin guy with large glasses who brings a three-figure bill. You smile at your friends, but your hand trembles as you tap your card on the terminal. Meanwhile, Margaret eats homemade food in the park that she prepared herself in 10 minutes. Sitting next to her is her friend Elena, a simple teacher who also knows how to count money. Elena wears comfortable sneakers and an old backpack, but she is happy and debt-free. The hacker watches your table at the restaurant, pointing out the interest the bank is charging. You buy a second cocktail just to avoid looking poor in Victor's eyes. In reality, Victor doesn't care about your cocktail. He's busy talking about his new boat. The hacker moves over to Margaret and points to her phone, where an investment app is open. While you pay for other people's impressions, Margaret buys shares in the companies you use. The difference between you is whom you are trying to please, others or your future self. You become a hostage to other people's expectations, building a prison out of brand names and debt. True success doesn't need an audience. It only requires cold calculation and iron discipline. Part 4. The price of tomorrow. Every purchase you make has two prices, the one you pay now and the one you lose in the future. Your Uncle Peter constantly brags about your success because he only sees the expensive wrapper. You feel pride at his words, but the hacker nearby shows the real price of this praise. Your $800 a month would have become $1 million in 30 years thanks to compound interest. Instead of $1 million in the future, you choose the smell of new leather that fades in a month. Margaret knows this math, so she calmly ignores the advice of her successful relatives. Your financial state is a tax on ignorance that you faithfully pay to the bank every month. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world to those who understand it, and a punishment for others. With every mile, your BMW brings you closer to a poor old age rather than to luxury. Time is your main asset, but you exchange it for things that rot faster than your debts. You could have financial freedom, but you chose a monthly payment for a stranger's admiration. Margaret sees every saved dollar as a future employee that brings in profit. You see a dollar only as an opportunity to buy another status trinket for your colleagues. Your lease debt is an invisible set of handcuffs you locked on your own wrists. Margaret buys assets that grow while she sleeps, walks, or reads her favorite books. You work for things that become cheaper every day and eventually turn into trash. Every whim moves you further from the moment you can finally say no to your boss. Real wealth doesn't scream with logos. It sits quietly in an account. You buy confidence on credit, but this debt only increases your anxiety every night. Stop and calculate how many years of your life have you already given for metal on wheels. Part 5. Breaking the cycle. You buy new things not because they are needed, but to silence internal anxiety. Your new gadget provides dopamine for a few hours, but the credit remains for years. Margaret doesn't look for happiness in stores. She finds it in the realization of her own power. Your things begin to own you, forcing you to work at a job you hate. You fear being fired not because you lose a career, but because you fear losing the facade of wealth. Margaret could quit her job tomorrow because her assets work for her while she sleeps. Every flex is another brick in the wall that separates you from financial will. You have become a slave to your own brand that you created for the people around you. Billboards tell you what you are worth, but your bank account tells the truth. It is time to stop and admit you are running in a wheel that someone else spins with your money. Your life has turned into an endless chase for new versions of things you don't even own. Margaret values her peace of mind above any trends that change every season. You buy the attention of strangers at the cost of your future retirement fund and stability. Every new purchase is another dose of illusion that requires an even larger portion of money. Margaret invests in knowledge and experience that cannot be taken away or devalued by inflation. Your BMW is not a symbol of success, but a symbol of the fear of appearing ordinary and poor. True success is when you don't need to prove it with monthly payments. You are building a house of cards that will collapse at the first financial crisis or illness. Margaret built a foundation of concrete that will withstand any storms in the economy. Choose, be the master of your money or an eternal debtor to your own ambitions. Part 6. The Prison of Status. Your social status is a prison whose walls you personally paint in expensive colors every year. You buy clothes from brands you don't even like just to impress the people around you. Margaret buys quality things only when she truly needs them for life, not for photos. Your loan for a new renovation is another stone around your neck dragging you into office routine. You are afraid to say no to another party because you fear falling out of your imaginary circle of success. Margaret chooses an evening with a book, feeling no need to prove anything to colleagues or neighbors. Your credit card debt grows faster than your desire to finally change your life. You have become a literal hostage to your own success, which actually belongs to the bank. Advertising algorithms know your weaknesses better than you do and hit your need for dopamine precisely. Every new emotional purchase is a step back from your future financial independence. You spend money you haven't earned yet on things you don't actually need. Margaret sees every bill not as a piece of paper, but as a seed from which her peaceful old age will grow. Your life is turning into an endless cycle of waiting for a paycheck to cover old debts. You buy premium service, but in reality, you only get a temporary illusion of your own importance. Margaret knows true comfort is when you have a choice, not expensive trinkets. You surround yourself with gilded cages because you are afraid to look into the eyes of your real emptiness. Every vacation on credit adds bright photos but takes away your peace for 6 months ahead. You are trying to catch an ideal created by marketers specifically for people like you. True success doesn't need daily confirmation through new receipts or brand logos. Your choice today is who you will wake up as in 10 years, free or a debtor. Part 7. The Currency of Life. You pay for your comfort not with money, but with hours of your life that you will never get back. Your apartment in a prestigious neighborhood forces you to work 60 hours a week. Margaret lives in a cozy but modest house, which gives her the luxury of working much less. You buy ready-made food every day because your cooking time is eaten by your exhausting job. Margaret cooks at home, turning the saved money into assets that pay her dividends. Your subscriptions to services you don't even use are silently draining your budget. You pay for a gym membership that you visit once a month just for one selfie. Your chase for comfort has turned into an obstacle course where the finish line keeps moving away. Margaret understands. True comfort is the complete absence of anxiety about your tomorrow. You still think you are buying things, but in reality, these things bought you a long time ago. You choose the most expensive data plan to feel like part of an elite world of consumers. Margaret chooses functionality because she knows that excess is just extra noise in life. You buy a status watch, but it only shows how fast your time is passing in debt. Every business class taxi ride is another hour of work on a Saturday morning. Margaret sees every saved $100 as days of her future vacation by the sea. You have become a slave to your own home, which demands constant investment in endless repairs. Real luxury is having time for yourself, not owning things that take that time away. You buy an illusion of security, but your foundation is made of paper bank promises. Margaret built her life so that it brings joy, not just exhaustion. Stop and ask yourself, are these things worth the life you are spending on them? Part 8. The bank's perfect asset. Bank managers smile at you not because you are rich, but because you are their perfect asset. For the bank, your credit limit is the volume of blood they pump out of your freedom. Margaret enters the bank only to check the terms for placing her new deposits. They offer you gold cards to make you feel special while you pay for every move. Margaret uses a simple card that offers no status bonuses but takes nothing extra. Your illusion of wealth is supported by marketers who know exactly which psychological buttons to push. Every new installment plan is a piece of future time you have already sold for nothing. You buy confidence on credit, but this debt only strengthens your fear of real change. Margaret builds her confidence on real numbers, not on pretty promises from advertisements. It is time to leave the game where the rules are written so that you always lose. The bank wants you to upgrade your car every 3 years, keeping you on the hook of endless payments. Margaret knows the bank is a tool for her, not that she is a tool for the bank. You rejoice at a low interest rate, forgetting that you are paying double for an unnecessary item. Your credit card is not your money. It is a promise to the bank that you will work for them. Margaret sleeps soundly because she owes nothing to anyone but herself and her goals. You are afraid to look at your mobile banking app to avoid seeing the reflection of your mistakes. Every cashback is just bait to make you spend even more on things you don't need. True financial literacy is the ability to see traps where others see only benefit. You have become the ideal consumer who asks no questions and faithfully pays for status. Choose, feed the banking system or build your own independent financial world. Part 9. The decades ahead. In 15 years, your car will be a pile of junk, while Margaret's investments will be her freedom. You will still be working in the same position just to maintain your usual level of spending. Margaret stopped looking at price tags long ago because she bought the most expensive thing: time. Your stress from debt will affect your health, which you will then try to buy back with money. Your friends from elite restaurants will vanish as soon as your card limits are exhausted. Margaret is surrounded by real people who value her for her wisdom, not her car brand. Every dollar spent on clout today could have worked for you without any days off. You will realize this too late unless you start acting right now, this very minute. Financial freedom begins not with a large sum, but with refusing to pretend to be someone you're not. Look at Margaret one last time and decide, do you want to just look like a millionaire or be one? Real wealth doesn't need spectators. It only requires your patience and calculation. You spent years building someone else's dreams, forgetting about your own true desires. Margaret sees the fruits of her discipline every time she opens her banking app. Your BMW has become just obsolete iron that requires more and more money for repairs. The world has changed, but you remained a hostage to old habits that no longer bring happiness. Margaret walks confidently into the future because her capital is her reliable, bulletproof vest. You are still trying to catch up with yesterday instead of creating tomorrow. Every no to an unnecessary purchase is a big yes to your future financial will. You can change this script, but it requires honesty with yourself. Your true path begins where your desire to impress others ends. Part 10. The ultimate choice. In the end, the difference between Max and Margaret isn't talent or luck, but the level of awareness. Max only sees what his car looks like in the parking lot this morning. Margaret sees how much this car will cost her over her entire lifetime. One vision builds a temporary impression. The other builds a true, free life. The parking lot will forget your car the moment you pull away at the end of the day. but your investment account will remember every dollar you gave it or withheld. Real wealth is the silence in which you don't need to prove anything to anyone. It is the confidence in tomorrow that is worth more than any brand or status. Choose wisely, because your choice today is your reality 10 years from now. Who are you today? The one who appears rich or the one who truly is? Your future depends on what you spend your attention on today. Don't let a metal box on wheels dictate how you live your only life. Margaret has already bought her freedom, and now she chooses where to go next. You can do this too if you stop playing by rules you didn't create. Financial independence is not the finish line. It is the beginning of your true journey. Stop feeding illusions and start building the foundation on which your peace will stand. The world won't change based on what car you arrive in, but your life certainly will. Choose your side today while you still have the time and energy to maneuver. The hacker knows the truth about everyone, but only you can make that truth your strength. Your time has started. What choice will you make right now?